remember Youssef En-Nesyri. He's the Sevilla striker who we were linked with and one of the few players that David Moyes has openly admitted to going after, to bidding for. Now, the only reason I bring this up is because the rumour has come out again, we're back in for this player. Now, normally I would dismiss such information, and normally I would, at least I might well talk about it in a transfer roundup, but I certainly wouldn't talk about it as if it were necessarily true. However, there's one thing we know about Youssef En-Nesyri, and that is that the path of information between us as fans, via West Ham, via Sevilla, via his agent, whoever it may be, we know that the path of that information is valid. We know that it's authentic. And why do we know that? Well, because David Moyes basically admitted as much himself. When it was rumoured that we were bidding for him, one of the few players that David Moyes has basically said, yes, we were. Yes, I am interested in the player. Yes, we are bidding for him. Yes, he is someone that's of interest to West Ham. So what that does tell us, when we read all those stories, it was true. We were in negotiations to try and get this player. And for that reason, because it was true before, because we know the avenue of information is good and is reliable, then I believe this story now. I believe we are back in for Youssef En-Nesyri. However, whilst I believe it to be true, I've sort of changed my mind for a number of reasons, and I'm not sure it's something we should do. Just because we can doesn't mean we should do it. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about Youssef En-Nesyri, and I'm going to be talking about James Ward-Prowse. I'm going to leave the knife for Gerd stuff until we know a little bit more. Apparently, he's done his medical. Club are going to announce it later today, tomorrow, Monday, something like that. Keep us all sweating. Got to allow enough time for Newcastle to get in, haven't you, really? It would be unfair to do anything but that. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Today, particularly on En-Nesyri, I do find it a little bit of a strange one, really. Now, if you remember, the reason that we didn't make the sign-in was not because we couldn't match the valuation at the time, which might have been 40-odd million. If one thing we know at West Ham, whether you think we've got it now or whether we haven't, one thing we do know is we will pay £40 million for a striker. We did it with Sebastian Haller. This was the guy that David Moyes wanted to replace Haller. It wasn't that negotiations broke down with us and Sevilla. No. The reason was the player said, I don't want to go. I don't want to go to West Ham. Did he say nothing against West Ham, blah, 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 said all the right things, said I'm very happy in Sevilla, I'm happy here, my family is settled here. End of story, as far as I'm concerned. Because any top-level footballer, anyone in the top leagues is going to be a multi-millionaire. So you've got to look at him, okay? He's already financially secure. He's playing for a really good team, Sevilla. I mean, they are a team of really good European pedigrees. He's playing in a good domestic league in La Liga. He's playing and getting to the knockout rounds of Europe every single season. And he's happy where he lives. And why rock the boat? He's a multi-millionaire. If his kids are happy in school, his wife's happy, his parents are gone over there. Why do it? Why muck around with it? He's happy. I'm not sure how, when you're in that situation, I don't think there's any way to argue with that. So why we would be backing for him now, I don't know. Now, the reason it's come up is because he's been a bit crap recently. He's only scored 5 goals in the last season. Now, we all got a chance to have a look at him, didn't we? Because we played Sevilla back-to-back in the last 16 of the Europa League. I thought he played better in the first game. The second, I wasn't massively impressed. It has to be said. I thought aerially he caused us some problems in the first game. But I didn't look at him and think, oh yeah, now there's a player worth paying £40 million for. I didn't. I've seen better strikers. A Breuer, for instance, I thought caused us far more problems than Youssef En-Nesyri did, for example. But all that is really irrelevant when you put it down to the reasoning why he didn't want to arrive at West Ham, didn't want to come to West Ham. Because the thing is, with these transfers, it's all very well David Moyes having an MOT, and we call it the David Moyes MOT. We call it that. I've never heard David Moyes call it that, but it's this thing that he alludes to, which is that the set of mental attributes that are separate from the technical kicking the ball ability that a footballer might have. It's about attitude. It's about application. You understand why he wants to do it. Can he fit into the team spirit? When the going gets tough, is he going to be mentally strong? Is he basically got the right attitude? Has he got the right determination? Has he got the right character. Basically, has he got the correct mental faculties, which when he goes onto the pitch will allow his technical footballing abilities to flourish? That's basically it in a nutshell. And I've got to be honest with you, I think all of that goes out the window the moment a player says, I don't want to come. Because that is mental. I don't want to say it's mental. I mean, it is a cerebral thing. It's an emotional response. It's something that's non-football related. At that point, David Moyes should be saying, do you know what, mate, fair enough. I'm not going to pursue this. Because even if I get you over here, you're not going to be happy anyway. Before I go any further, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app, which you can download by clicking that link just down there underneath the screen, or you can use that QR code, which is just up there. You can use the OneFootball app, download it to your phone, and it is free, because when you sign up, what it'll do is ask you who you support and what your national team is. I put West Ham and I put England, and it puts all the national team, oh my goodness, weren't England terrible, by the way, puts all the national team news together for me, and all the West Ham news as well. So I don't have to go around searching different newspapers, different websites to go and find out what the latest gossip is on West Ham in terms of transfers, what the injury news is, what the fixture schedules. So by the way, the fixture schedules have just come out. It's all there for me in your one-stop football shop. That is the OneFootball app, which you can download by clicking the link below. Back to En-Nesyri, I think I'd just be saying with Moyes, but it doesn't matter. Because actually, those things about not wanting to be in a certain country, about being happy where he is, I'm not sure how well you think somebody is going to cope if actually what you're in essence doing is saying, keep throwing money at him and forcing him to move to somewhere he doesn't want to move to and move his family when he doesn't want to move his family. Now, I've got to say, that's a terrible thing to do, to then get a player over and then expect him to have full concentration and full focus on the pitch and all of those other sort of mental faculties that by David Moyes prides himself on. I just don't see how. I don't know why we would be pursuing this. I really don't. Put the footballing thing aside. Put the fact that he didn't look great against us aside. The 5 goals last season. Put it all to one side and just look at it and think he doesn't want to come. So actually, it's all very well and good. There's no point scraping below the veneer and finding out what further we need to know about his character. We know that. And that's enough. Leave him be. The other one is the James Ward-Prowse one, which is 70 million, apparently. Southampton are quoting for to get James Ward-Prowse out of there. Either go and get him or don't. If that's who we want, we now know the price. There's no point haggling, all right? I say there's no point haggling. It's easy for me to say, you know what I mean? Maybe they do. Maybe they think they can get him for 65 or whatever. I do think we got a pretty clear run at this one. I don't think there's too many other clubs going in and bidding for that one. It's not like the like a number of the transfers we discussed where you need to get in there early because someone else is going to jump in. I can't see too many people willing to pay £70 million for James Ward-Prowse. Maybe we shouldn't, but it's actually Southampton, so in many respects you've got to put up or shut up. Because one thing Southampton are very good at, and that's selling players. And when Southampton give a player a value, well, that's his value. We've seen it. It's pointless. It's pointless me listing all the players that Southampton have sold, but they're numerous. Well, you know, numerous. Most of them ended up at Liverpool, didn't they? But when they set a price tag on a player, that is it. I remember I said in previous videos about understanding what is attractive to a club. This is Southampton's captain. Not only that, he is also somebody that is basically their orchestrator. He conducts their play. He conducts their set pieces. A lot of Southampton's good play, a lot of their goals, a lot of their attacking sequences come from this guy. For him to be replaced is going to be difficult. We are talking about the best set piece taker in the Premier League. Right? That's obviously that's corners, clearly. It's free kicks. It's a really difficult thing to then go out and get someone creatively who's going to be able to do that job and be a leader and be able to play at a competent level in central midfield in the Premier League. I completely understand why Southampton don't want to sell him. He's on a long-term contract, and of course he's an England international. They just don't need to do it. So if we really want him, this is pointless dilly-dallying. We can either afford him or we can't. It's as simple as that. If what we're going to do is go in with a lowball offer and try and convince Southampton that really they want 50 million. Don't get me wrong, when I say don't haggle, you probably can haggle in as much as how the transfer fee will be paid, What part are bonuses, what part are add-ons, all the rest of it. But, I mean, by and large, it's going to need to add up to about 70 million for Southampton, whatever the component parts of that deal are. No point saying we'll give you 50 spread over 5 years. This is no use. Southampton aren't going to buy into that. And you can absolutely understand why. I do think it's if this is who David Moyes wants, and David Moyes wants to further enhance the way West Ham play with set plays and stuff like that, and he's seeing this as the guy for the job, do it. Go and get him. But if you can't, don't waste time. Don't dilly-dally. All right? Just go, move along, get somebody else. I'm going to talk more about David Moyes and Rob Newman. I'm going to do it once they get this Aguerd deal over the line, because this is the first one together. This is the first one that will have been with Newman doing the negotiating, with them being given a budget, with none of Sullivan's agents being involved, would basically be a Moyes and Newman pick with a deal that has been finalised and concluded by Newman. This will be it. So we'll discuss that after it's happened, because this is a new thing. There's one thing you know about this deal, if it goes through Aguerd. This is not, we don't know about Vlasic, we don't know about Benrahma. We've always said, is this a Moyes signing, is this a Sullivan signing? This is a David Moyes signing. David Moyes and Rob Newman signing, right? So we will discuss that more. Once it's done, but there's no doubt about it, okay? They've got a budget. We can either afford James Ward-Prowse or we can't. If not, and we can't, then Rob Newman and David Moyes are going to have to look in their little black books, their little dossiers, and find another central midfielder who they can afford.